Started?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll rewind, right? Okay, you're gonna get your dress form, booty or booty not. Okay, it doesn't matter. Mine has a booty, doesn't matter if it doesn't have booty. We're gonna make a basic sloper of a dress pattern. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to mark the hip line. Do not measure from the waist down evenly the same amount because it's going to be curved. Measure actually either from the floor up, okay, or measure from the bottom of the dress form. Be careful that it kind of curves in, and it definitely curves in. So this measurement here in a diagonal is not going to be the same measurement on here that is perfectly vertical, okay? Make sure that this line is perpendicular to the floor. Yes? Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get muslin, and I always like to have a little bit extra fabric because if I run out of fabric, I'm going to have to start all over again. So have extra rather than having too little. Okay? So my draping, and I usually do about 3 or 4 fingers. Okay? Like this, not like this. So 4 fingers from the highest point. By the way, anybody knows how this point is called? Did I say that last class? No. This is called HPS, highest point shoulder, right? So this is the intersection between the shoulder line and the neckline. So if you wear anything, it always by gravity will stay here. The rest it could extend or go anywhere, but this is going to always be anchored, okay? So this is your highest point shoulder. If you have an open neckline, then it will be somewhere more open. But it always, this point is going to stay close to you and not worn like this, okay? So I'm gonna give myself about 4 inches or 3 inches at the top, and then I'm gonna measure the longest. So it goes over the breast, and we're gonna do about 3 or 4 inches below the hip line. And then we're going to not cut it, we're gonna rip it. And why are we ripping it? Because we wanna make sure that it is perfectly 90 degrees between the grain line and the cross grain line, okay? So yes, this is very therapeutic, okay? Do not cut it. And then check the other end. If the other end has been cut with scissors, okay, cut a little bit and then rip it to make sure that goes across. Because if you see, when you rip it, it rips across the one thread perfectly. It will never rip in an angle, okay? And how do I know that? Because if I pull one thread, I have a complete full thread from selvage to selvage, okay? There is nothing more perfectly square than that. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I press it, and I press it really well, okay? Those of you taking the class before have seen this. Those of you that haven't, I'm gonna show you. What we're going to do is we're gonna press it with a lot of steam. And I'm gonna make you guys feel it because we're gonna take a break from the video, right? That you're gonna feel the texture changes because woven fabrics, especially cotton woven fabrics, have something that is called sising, which is a type of starch. So they will look really nice on the roll and be easier to roll up. I don't know if you ever, I mean, men's shirt is much more common. Maybe with your blouse when you did it, had like a weird kind of smell after you pressed it. That's the sising, right? And after you press it, it went away and you never saw it again, right? That is very typical on woven fabrics, okay? So we're gonna press it really well, and then we're gonna come back here and we're gonna do a technique that is called blocking it. And blocking it is going to allow us to make sure that we have a perfect 90 degrees from the selvage to across the grain line, okay? Now, since I'm doing the front and the back, maybe I'm going to rip it on the length on it, on the grain line. So I have one piece for the front and one piece for the back, okay? After I press it and I block it, then I'm gonna cut the salvage off and I'm gonna press in 1 inch because that is my perfect grain line. And I'm gonna use that on the center front and I'm gonna use that on the center back. So this is how you prepare your fabrics. Everybody okay so far? All right, so commercial.